Only in Kentucky could one county be home to the world's largest political barbecue and a legal battle that sent Amish men to jail for refusing to use orange safety traffic triangles. Hi, I'm Michael. I want to learn a little bit more about Kentucky, one county at a time, all 120 of them. And today, I'm learning about Graves County. If you haven't already, I do hope you check out the other counties I've covered. They're all listed in the playlist on my profile. If I haven't covered yours yet, I'll get to it soon. I promise. I'm going in mostly alphabetical order. And as always, if I miss something, feel free to correct me in the comments so we can all learn together. Graves County was officially formed in 1824. It was carved out of the Jackson Purchase, a region purchased by Isaac Shelby and Andrew Jackson from the Chickasaw people in 1818. We've talked about it a little bit before. Before that, this part of the Kentucky wasn't technically part of the Commonwealth at all yet. It was really the last frontier of Kentucky. The county was named after Major Benjamin Franklin Graves. He was a farmer and state legislator from Fayette County. During the War of 1812, he served in the Kentucky Volunteers. He was wounded and taken prisoner during the Battle of Raisin River in 1813. He was last seen being marched towards a British fort in Canada and was never heard from again. The county seat is Mayfield. There is a specific legend about how the town and a nearby creek got their names. Legend has it that a gambler named Mayfield was kidnapped in 1817 at a racetrack near Hickman, Kentucky. He was taken to the site of the present-day city and reportedly carved his name into a tree hoping to be found. He eventually tried to escape, but unfortunately drowned while trying to cross the creek. The first permanent white settler in Mayfield was John Anderson, who arrived in 1819, but the history of habitation, of course, goes much further back than just that. The Youngblood site in Graves County contains archaeological evidence of Native American communities dating back nearly 1,000 years in that area, showing that this fertile land was a hub for humans long before the Jackson Purchase. Early settlers came from Virginia, North Carolina, and Tennessee. They found fertile soil that was ideal for tobacco growth. Specifically, Graves County became famous for dark fire tobacco. This is a heavy leaf cured using smoke from hardwood fires. It's what gives smokeless tobacco its distinct flavor. And for a long time, Graves County, and really that whole region of Kentucky, was the center of that world. In the early 20th century, this industry led to the Black Patch Tobacco Wars. Large tobacco companies were keeping prices low, and so farmers organized the Planters Protective Association. When some farmers refused to join, violence broke out. The night riders, who we've talked about before, would ride into towns to burn warehouses and scrape the plant beds of farmers who wouldn't comply. They also did a lot more than just that, but that's another story. Graves County was a flashpoint for this conflict, where the struggle for a fair price turned into open guerrilla warfare. But Graves County wasn't just about farming, it was a massive manufacturing center. The Mayfield Woolen Mills started before the Civil War and grew until Mayfield was one of the largest clothing manufacturers in the country. For a century, if you bought a high-quality men's suit in the United States, there was a good chance it was made in Mayfield. This industry was so dominant that the local minor league baseball team was named the Mayfield Pantsmakers in the 1920s, before later becoming the Mayfield Clothers. The Clothers eventually made history in 1952 when they signed a Mayfield native named Mickey Stubblefield, who became the first African-American to pitch in the Kitty League. The Civil War history here is also very distinct. The region was so pro-Confederate it was nicknamed Kentucky's South Carolina. In May 1861, Southern sympathizers held the Mayfield Convention at the courthouse, and they formally condemned President Lincoln and discussed seceding from Kentucky to join Tennessee. While they stayed in the Union, the tension was so high that Union forces eventually occupied the town and forced citizens to build fortifications around the courthouse. Graves County also has a difficult history regarding racial violence. Between 1877 and the early 1900s, there were 6 documented lynchings of African Americans. In December 1896, 4 black men were killed in a single week in Mayfield. However, in 1956, the county took a major step towards change. 10 black students from the segregated Dunbar High School, not the same one that's in Lexington, registered at the all-white Mayfield High School. They are remembered today as the Mayfield 10, and unlike many other towns in the Deep South, this integration in the school system happened without any large-scale violence. One of the most famous spots in the county is Fancy Farm. It was settled by Roman Catholics from Maryland starting in 1829. The community is centered around St. Jerome Catholic Church. And every year, on the first Saturday in August, they host what is now the most famous political event in Kentucky. I would argue maybe one of the most important ones in the United States, the Fancy Farm Picnic. In 1985, it was recognized as the world's largest picnic. At the 1982 event alone, people ate 15,000 pounds of mutton, pork, and chicken. But the speeches are the real draw. Every major Kentucky politician is expected to show up and trade jabs in front of a loud partisan crowd. It is the unofficial start of the fall election season. If you head into the city, you'll find the Wooldridge Monuments in Maplewood Cemetery. They are known as the strange procession that never moves. Henry G. Wooldridge, a lifelong bachelor and horse trader, commissioned 18 life-size statues in the 1890s to memorialize his life and family. The statues include his mother, brother, sisters, and nieces. There are also statues of his hunting dogs, a fox, and a deer. One marble statue of Wooldridge was carved in Italy, and another shows him sitting on his favorite horse, Fop. Interestingly, Henry is the only person actually buried in that lot. In 2011, Graves County made national news over a conflict involving the Amish community. Several Amish men were jailed for refusing to use orange reflective safety triangles on their buggies. They argued that the loud colors violated their religious beliefs and preferred using reflective tape instead. 9 men ended up serving jail time because they refused to pay the fines, leading to a national debate over religious freedom and road safety. The county is also the birthplace of Alvin Barkley. Born in the community of Wheal in 1877, he served as a U.S. representative and senator before becoming the 35th vice president of the United States under Harry S. Truman. Other notable natives include the celebrated author Bobby Ann Mason and musicians Kevin Skinner, who won America's Got Talent in 2009. The county also produced Lucian Anderson and Andrew Boone, both of whom served in Congress during pivotal eras of American history. Nature in the county is preserved at the Clarks River National Wildlife Refuge. It covers over 8,000 acres and is the only national wildlife refuge located entirely within the state of Kentucky. On December 10, 2021, Graves County faced its greatest modern tragedy. A long-track tornado, one of the most powerful in the United States, moved directly through Mayfield. It destroyed much of the downtown commercial district and the historic courthouse. A candle factory, Mayfield Consumer Products, was leveled while employees were working the night shift. 8 people died at the factory, and the town was left in ruins for a very long time. Of course, the recovery has been a massive undertaking. The courthouse, which had stood since 1888, was so badly damaged it had to be demolished in 2022. Beyond Mayfield, the county is made up of several smaller communities. Wingo was established in 1854 as a railroad stop. Farmington was laid out in 1836 and is home to a National Blue Ribbon School. Water Valley houses the site of Camp Beauregard, a Civil War training camp where over 2,000 Confederate soldiers are buried, mostly victims of disease rather than battle. Today, Graves County has a population of about 36,000 people. So, that's Graves County. What'd I get wrong this time?